In this screencast, I'm going to show you some best practice ways to build your site and edit a site that's been built with Elementor. So in this case, I'm looking at a site that has been built by my client, and I'm going to do a little bit of a cleanup on the design on the back end. I'll show you what we're doing right here. So we will come in, and here's a couple of things to look at. So first off, I see that my client has used sections to create white space. You should never do that because you're just adding extra markup. What you need to do is you actually need to, let's see what all we've got in here. So this is spacer, 150 pixels. This is this. Yeah, we'll delete these guys and get rid of you. A lot of times you don't even have to use the spacer. You just use its effective use of margins is what we're going to do. All right, so now let's get these things set up the way that they should be. So let's just, instead of inserting extra markup, we can just add margin. So the top, let's make that, what, 80? Maybe we want to make it 120. There we go. Now at the bottom, we had a 150 pixel spacer. Let's put it in right there. All right. Now we just have margin on the bottom and on the top. All right. And I believe I clicked that as well to unlink the value so we could have different ones in there. Here's another thing I see going on right here. You've added an inner section inside of a section. That's adding more markup than we actually need. A better way to build this guy out is, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to add another column, so that we're just not putting things upon things. This is going to make the page load slower. The browser, it takes a little bit longer to render it as you add more markup. If you just start doing it everywhere, it's really going to start causing a problem. Let's duplicate this column, and actually I'm going to undo that. I hit Control Z. I want to just add a new column. Now we've added a new column, so now let's start dragging out our sections. So there, I drag that there, and I'm going to drag that content right there, and this, let's see how, that was like a 30 by 70 section. So we can do that again. So let's do 30 pixels by 70. So now that's going to give you the same type of layout that we just had. Now let's figure out where we want to put this button. You could easily put that button just right here, and you could have it center aligned there. If you don't like it center aligned there, I don't necessarily like it there either. You might left align it. I mean, that's a pretty normal pattern. You could put it over here. Let's see what it looks like over here. Right align it. You could do that as well. That's an option. But then again, maybe we just want to put another column down here, or another section, and we can center that as well. So here's what we'll do. We're going to put that in, and now in this section, we'll get rid of that bottom margin. We'll zero that out. Now this guy, we will restore that bottom margin. I'm going to unlink the values and make that 150. There we go. Now we can stick this guy right here. We can center it, and that's sort of how you had things set up earlier. It's centered between these, just in the middle of this 100% column right there. And so that's going to match what you had, and we just greatly simplified the layout. No more intersection and no more blank sections. Now notice there's more sections like that on down the page where we've gone in, and let's see what's going on right here. How is that guy? That's good. Okay, you've added some padding to the bottom. That's a good way to do that. I think a better way to do that, let's see, if we're just looking at this, instead of adding it to the text, because that can make things sort of weird at times, I'm going to get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Now, if you want to, here's what you should do. Yeah, we need to make it, because here's what's going to happen. This whole column over here and over here, when you put it on mobile, they're going to stack. So really what we should be doing is this. Let's go in, and you've got this intersection. You've got the thing. Okay, so I'd do this. We're going to drag in. We are going to use some intersections here. We're going to drag in a couple of these things. So let's do that there. Let's get rid of this. I see you got some padding here. I'm going to zero that out. Get rid of it. Boom. Gone. Also, here's another thing. You don't ever have to type in all caps. Do a home that serves you. Don't type it in all caps, because we can use CSS to change that. Go to your style tab, go to typography, and let's transform it and make that thing uppercase. See, there you go. Now you don't ever have to go back and retype. Just type it normal case, like a title or however you're going to do it, and then use your uppercase transform for the typography to make it uppercase. Now we're going to put it right there, and put this right here. Now all we have to do on this section is I'm going to pull this over a little bit so you can see without my video controls messing us up. Vertical align, let's make that middle. See, now we don't actually have to add padding and stuff. So this is a much cleaner layout. And on mobile, this is going to stack one over each other. And I'll show you once, like here, let me show you this real quick. So if we get to mobile, see, here's this heading, and like we might make that heading a little bit smaller font size for mobile, but there you see that stacks normally. Now these guys, see, they start to stack weird. You're not able to control things as easily when it's not going to translate well to mobile. So what we're going to do is come back here. Let's go ahead and duplicate. Okay, now we'll duplicate, and now what we're going to do is we will get rid of that, and we're going to drag in. I see where you've added some padding to that as well. Makes sense. That's the pattern you followed initially. We'll get rid of that. So let's see. Get rid of that. Let's just go ahead and type that normal case, a plan that guides you. We'll get rid of that. And we will go to our typography tab and do what? We're going to transform uppercase. There we go. And we'll get rid of the padding on that guy. Let's get rid of that. Just don't even need it. Typically, you won't add that padding like that. Now, let me check. I see your text is big here. Is that because? Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Let's just make this plain text. Let's get rid of all the junk, the garblegook that's in there, the extra HTML, and get rid of those span tags. Do it like that. Now, let's see. I think, yeah, we've already got the font styled, so you don't even have to have that in there. So we cleaned that up so you don't have extra HTML in there. So that's going to load quicker. Now, I didn't mean to duplicate that. Let's delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Now, let's drag this image up here. Oh, he's not wanting to grab. Oh, I'm going to show you a trick. So you see how for me, I'm trying to click on this guy, not grabbing. So I'm going to come over here to my little, is it that image? Yeah, it's that image. See this guy? Okay, check this out. So so there's my section. Here's the section above, and that's empty. I'm just going to drag right there and force him. Not there. I want to force him right there. There you go. See, we got him right there. See, now these are center aligned, and we don't have all the funky padding as well. So let's get rid of your padding on this. Let's normal case this, communicate. Now we go ahead and pause while I do this. You've seen what I've done on these other two rows. I'm going to pause, and I'll be back in just a second after I get done in this, and we'll see if there's other things to fix. So I'm going to pause for right now. Okay, let's see. I'm right back after the pause. Got that heading fixed. Now I'm looking at these guys, and I see we've got two paragraphs. That doesn't really make much sense as far as what I'm seeing. I don't think that's stylistically you're trying to do a smaller font, bigger font. I think what you're doing is I think you want to have two paragraphs. Let's just check to see. Okay, clean text right there. Let's grab this text. I see all that text right there. Here's what we could do is here's the easy way. I'm going to do it inside the span tags. Grab that. Now we're going to stick it in here. We're going to hit it. Enter and stick it right there. Now we're going to delete that. Now, if you like that size text, like that might work. If we want to standardize and go back up, so like if we want to change this text size in the text editor, it's better just to do it globally. So like let's go ahead and update that. Like what is that? Is that 24? 24 looks about right. I think that's it. All right. So there, if you like that 24, there we've got it. Here on this section, we'll go ahead and make sure our vertical line is middle in case we remove text or something like that. That's going to make sure it stays aligned like this one. We'll go in here and let's change our text size to 24. And we'll go back here and we will change our text size to 24. Okay. All right. So there, I feel like we've gotten that guy. Now, one of the things, maybe we look at this and think, hey, let's have a little bit of margin between these guys. And so what we can do is let's do, like, what if we did 40 pixels? Maybe. Okay. I mean, I've got that right there. That might work for us. Let's check here. That looks like there's a lot of, is that some padding? Padding around that guy? Okay, 30 pixels top, 60 pixels bottom. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, you can put it on the button. A lot of times, I think I'd do this. Let's see. 30 at the top. Let's do this. Let's get rid of it around the button. This is more on preference on my part, but a lot of times an element like that, I don't like to use all that spacing around it, and I like to do things more through like my sections and put my padding around my sections. And now if we want to add some more padding at the bottom of this whole section, let's check it out and see what you got. So you got 60, and then we'll make this let's make this 60 in the bottom, 60 to even it out. So there you got 60 at the bottom. Now once again we get here and we've got this whole section. Don't need it. We're going to delete it because we use margins to create space. You hardly ever need to use spacers. Like this spacer set to 150. So here's what we're going to do. Come here, and you see what we're going to do. Go to Advanced. Oh wow, yeah, you've done some. Oh yeah, we've done some just to sort of line up stuff. But let's go ahead and set this at 150. Now look at that. We've done that, and we don't have to add any extra elements or widgets right there. And let's see. Let's just check your paragraph. You've got double break, and there you go. Okay, that looks good. Now, okay, spacer again. Ooh, 2 spacer sections. Let's get rid of these things. And here's what we will do. Let's go back here. Bottom. So really it would have been 300 plus 80. So 380 if you want to actually match what you had with your spacers. So 380. There you go. I don't necessarily know. I mean, that's a lot of white space. That's so much white space at that point. I'd almost think you know, your users might not even, there'd be times when they might not be aware there's anything below it. So let's put that back to maybe, let's try 200. Not 2,000, 200. I think that's going to be a little bit better, maybe even 150. White space is good, but too much is going to be too much of a good thing sometimes. So I'll set it at 200. You can play around with it, but that's sort of where we went with that. Scrolling down through here. Oh, another. Okay, we'll get rid of this spacer. And let's just do a bottom margin on this thing. We'll do that set to 150. Now we've done it with margin. Okay. Now, let's see. I think this is set up the way that I would do it. Probably intersection inside of one column, and now you've got this. Fair enough. I like how you've done that. I bet you've... Yeah, okay, cool. See, I've done this. This is where I set this up earlier. And we have set it to use uppercase as the transform, normal casing, and oh, here's another. Let's get rid of that guy. Let's see, make sure. Okay, so now, if you want to have, we can do. Oh yeah, spacer there too. So what we'll do, since this is one whole section, now all we have to do is come in and let's get our margins of the way. So if you had 150 above 60, that would be 210 on each side. So 210. I mean, that's going to match. That's where you're at, where you had it. Let's check and see. All right. So now we've got things cleaned up. And that's how we cleaned up some things. We removed extra sections. We used margins. We worked on our text as well. We used multiple rows so that these things will stack. Like this is going to go underneath this photo. This is going to go underneath, or actually go over that photo. And that'll go underneath that one. Here, let me actually show you something real quick on responsive. Here's another tip and trick. So if we look at those where I was talking about these rows where we've got things stacking. Now, you notice, so the first and last, you've got picture over heading on mobile. On this one, why don't we do this? Check this out. I'm going to select this guy, and on mobile, we've got an option. It's under responsive. And we can reverse the columns. Check this out. So when it's on mobile, we want it to stack like that, don't we? Doesn't that make more sense? If we wanted to, we could also go ahead and set the alignment. And you notice, see that little thing? This is just going to be on mobile. We could just set it to be left on mobile. However, I'm cool with like doing the right aligned on mobile like that. It's, you know, a little bit different. But if you want to, if you switch it to mobile view, here's this little button down here. I'll move me over here on the right side. This right here, it toggles you back and forth between responsive and like, you know, you can check mobile, you can check it on tablet, you can check it on desktop. But mobile and desktop are going to be the two main views that people are going to use on just about any website. But so there you go. We've got that sort of cleaned up, and let's switch it back to desktop. And I think that's pretty much, that's a little bit of cleanup that we've done all up and through here. And we'll we'll close this off, and hopefully you've learned a couple of things on cleaning things up when you're working with Elementor and reducing some of the widgets that you want to use on a page. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.